This is ChangeMakers with Katie Gore, finding the right solutions for the affordable housing community.
Welcome back to part 2 of my interview with ChangeMaker Jeffery Patterson, the CEO of the Cuyahoga Metropolitan Housing Authority, one of the largest housing authorities in the country. Jeffery, I want to circle back on something we talked about in part 1, and that's the senior population. Not everybody can own a home or is able to handle the maintenance that goes with home ownership, so affordable housing provides a unique niche for senior citizens. What community programs are you offering your seniors?
Well, you get an opportunity, through our resident and tenant organizations, residents organize activities. You've had folks that go out to different events, coordinating grocery shopping, going out to visit different places, and also supportive services, working to make sure that they are able to get the medical attention they need, make sure that their benefits are right, make sure that if they need meals, whether it be from the Greater Cleveland Food Bank, who is an outstanding partner with us, or the Golden Age Center, there are different people that will provide programming and things because you have a collection of seniors together, which can be serviced. And sometimes it's just the fact that you're in a situation with people that are in the same boat with you, so you begin to support each other because you're together. And I think that, we would do residency checks sometime when it gets to be real hot or it gets to be real cold. We'll do wellness checks in a lot of our facilities, and a lot of times you have people who we're doing wellness checks, but they also are doing the wellness checks themselves because they've come to establish relationships and friendships with people. And that's what being in a building like some of ours does. It connects people, and it makes sure that you're not just someone who's out there all alone that may go days and no one sees them or no one knows what's going on, and it puts them in a really difficult position.
And that social connectiveness, I'm sure, has been very valuable for seniors, especially given this national pandemic.
Yeah, it has been. I mean, we've set up lines for our seniors to call if they have specific challenges and things like that. And we also, we're calling daily or every couple of days just to check on people, just to ask how they're doing, just to, make sure they had everything that they need, if there were anything that we could do to help. And I think that this pandemic has really brought a lot of things into focus that have made us really look at how we interact and how we need to even be more connected to people, but also have to find out that that connection cannot just solely be face to face, which goes back to the importance of having internet technology throughout our sites, because it's important for us to be able to connect with people, even in cases where we may not be able to do it on a face to face basis.
How has the pandemic affected your organization in other ways? I mean, what other company projects have you guys had to pivot and adjust?
Because this business has been such a face-to-face business, just the fact that you aren't able to see people has been a challenge. It's been a challenge for the residents who have, really come to have a tremendous amount of respect and comfort with the managers and the employees. To not having them there has been, troublesome for them. But then I think for staff, to be focused on, the work, but also concerned about your health and safety as well as your family's health and safety has been, something, that has taken some time for folks to get comfortable with. During this pandemic, we didn't shut down. We at one point reduced our hours, but, we've been here pretty much this whole time because we know that our residents have needed us. And there's a lot of appreciation and respect on both sides. But I think, the main thing has just been trying to make sure we could keep the buildings as clean as possible, and try to make sure that people who are in need of things, whether it be food, whether it be materials and things like that they have an avenue or mechanism to be able to get that information there. We had a group of residents that called themselves the Masketeers, and
Nice.
they actually made masks for other residents at other sites. We had a group of residents that came together to actually, want to go out and assist in terms of cleaning and doing some of the sanitation of the buildings and things like that. And throughout the pandemic, I have routinely, through a conference call, met with the resident leadership to get their direct input on things that were going on at the sites and what was needed to try to support the residents. So the communication through this process, I think, has been good, but it's just been, I think, a challenge for everyone, and it's one that we're still dealing with today.
So, even outside of COVID, you're running one of the largest housing authority in the United States. There's a lot of specific challenges that are present given its size. How are you and your team combating some of those? What are those?
I think that probably, we want to try to look at our housing stock. On top of being the seventh largest housing authority, we are the oldest housing authority in the nation, first chartered back in 1933. So, one of our most significant challenges is dealing with an aging housing stock. Some of the housing that we have, we try to do our best to keep it sustainable, but at some point in time, you have to look at it and find ways to upgrade it. And I think our challenge now, and that was the purpose of our 2045 plan, was to really look at these properties and not just plan them as a isolated initiative by the housing authority, but to work with our partners, the city of Cleveland, the different foundations, some of the other community development organizations within the city, to talk about what is going on in these areas and how can the housing be connected and a part of what's being done, not just the housing authorities rebuilding the housing authority in a community, but how can the redevelopment of the housing units in the community be tied to the overall vision of that community as well as the overall vision of the city and the county as a whole.
If someone is curious on how to find that 2045 plan, where would they find that?
Yeah, you should be able to see it on our website, and that would probably be the best way to get a look at that.
Okay. And one of the things that we've been covering here on these Changemakers podcasts is we've been actually not just looking at affordable housing policy, organization dynamics, community involvement, but we've also been looking at leadership styles. And I want to read a couple of your accolades here. You were selected Smart Business Magazine's Nonprofit Executive Director of the Year. You were winner of the Ohio City Incorporated Presidential Award, Campus District's Visionary Award, Downtown Cleveland Alliance Development Award. It goes on and on. And you're a member of the Leadership Cleveland class. Tell us, if you were going to instill some of that wisdom, what would be your top 3 or 4 must do or must not do tips?
I think first is maintaining a sense of humility and perspective. While those awards may have been given to Jeffery Patterson, in reality, those awards belong to the Cuyahoga Metropolitan Housing Authority and our residents and the people I serve. It's for me to conduct myself in a way to put us in a position to have a seat at the table to make sure that our interests and the things we do are represented within the community. So I think that having that perspective and humility is very, very important. I think being resilient is a strength of leadership in these types of positions, because you have to be able to keep coming no matter what. I mean, no matter
Right.
how hard we work to address the housing needs, there's still going to be housing needs. So you have to have the ability to want to work and continue to try to make things better for everyone. And then I think in terms of leadership, I think that it's very, very important for people to be committed and to want to do this. You can't just get into this and think that it's just a job. It's more than that. It's knowing Miss Smith, who lives at X residence, and understanding her situation, or understanding the mother who's trying to figure out how she can get her kids educated throughout this pandemic. It's realizing that you're not just dealing with situations, you're dealing with people who are in situations, and understanding that you have to exercise some type of compassion, but you also have to realize that sometimes, the answer is going to be what the answer is, and you have to be respectful in how you deliver that message.
Well, that is definitely wisdom that you've gained over the 30 years of your service to the residents of Cuyahoga County, but it's also so reflective of who you are as a leader because not many can balance the needs of an organization, as you're working through a $230 million budget, the needs of the employees, but then still recognize the person's heart and their personal situation of what's going on in their life as they're in housing. And so you've been able to achieve something that really, evades a lot of people. So thank you
Thank you.
for that. And I know that the residents of your properties are seeing who you are and how passionate you are and how you deliver these programs.
Well, I grew up in Cleveland, grew up in this community, and you have a certain level of connectivity to where you are and who you are. It's just important. It's always been important to me to just try to do the best that we can. Are we perfect? No. Do we make mistakes? Yes. Are there situations that we could have handled better? Of course there are. But at the end of the day, every day we're here trying to do the best we can, and we want to try to solve as many situations as we can, and try to help people be able to find a path to some better opportunities for them, and finding those doors, opening those doors, and providing people with those types of opportunities is something that excites us, and something that I think we take a lot of pride in trying to do on a daily basis.
Well, you're doing a fantastic job. And that's one of the many reasons I wanted to invite you on this podcast. And so get to be able to have other people hear your story and all the great things that you're doing there in Cuyahoga.
Katie, thank you so much for having me today and allowing me the opportunity to share some of the things that are going on in Cuyahoga. It's really important that we get this information out, and I love this type of forum to be able to do so. So, thank you very much.
You are most welcome.
Thanks for listening to Changemakers with Katie Gore. To find out more about Katie, go to quadel.com. That's QUADEL.com. This has been a production of Forbes Books Radio.